Which fast food restaurant makes the tastiest and most premium burger?
Okay, well, I don't know where that's coming from. What is going on? Let's see. Don't mind that, people.
Scotty cares about is big, tasty, fat burger booty in my
There it
belly.
is. Okay, we're going to pretend like that just didn't happen. I don't know what was going on with my computer, but hello, everybody. I hope you are doing well. I hope you are ready for some questions because that's what I got today. Let me just figure out why do I have so much going on my computer? Who knows? It's always a surprise around here. Always, always, always. And hello to my lovely ladies in my Zoom room. I hope you all are doing well. Oh, and I see I got stuff in the chat. Let's see. What are we chatting about today? Boom. Yes. Hello, bestie. Hello. So, let's get to it. I think you can see my screen. I can see my screen. We don't have random music playing, and we're ready for question number 110. Yep. All right. A mortgage clause that allows the lender to demand full repayment of the loan if the borrower sells or transfers the property without the lender's consent is called a or an. Is it A, escalation clause, B, acceleration clause, C, alienation or due on sale clause, or D, defeasance clause? What say you? What are you thinking the answer is? Anybody got a guess? All right. Miss Val and Miss Rosalinda says it is C, the alienation clause. All right, the due on sale clause. And you know what? Y'all are absolutely right. Boom, boom, there it is. It is the alienation clause or the due on sale clause because you sold or transferred the property. All right, so luckily, boom, shakalaka. That's right, Val. Boom. Hello, Ola, Miss Trix, and yes, I see you with the C there. So we know that if you alienate yourself from the property or you sell the property, you have to pay in full. We know the acceleration clause says if you default, you need to, pay everything in full. We know the defeasance clause says, give me back title after I finish paying everything off. But what is an escalation clause? That's something we don't talk about too much in here, but I think it's a good word to know simply because, maybe I'm not like a lot of other teachers, but I don't want y'all just to pass the test. I want you to pass the test, but I really want you to feel like when you get out there in the real world, you know what you're doing. So, does anybody know what an escalation clause is? I'm guessing you don't. So I want to kind of go over that with you because I think it's something you should be aware of. Now, normally, let's say I wanted to put in an offer and I put in my offer for $450,000, right? Right. If I put it in for $450,000 and that's from Candace, let's put that here. I'm basically telling the seller, look, I'm willing to pay you $450,000 for your house. But I really want the house. And do you have any idea how bitter I would be if I lost out because somebody else will choose a different color was willing to pay 455,000? We'll call that the other offer. I mean, if they had simply asked me, I probably would have gone up to $456,000. But you're telling me I lost out because of $5,000 or maybe even $500 or $1,000 or something small like that. That's where the idea of an escalation clause came in. An escalation clause right here says,
Excuse me,
here's,
Candace.
yeah.
I can't see your writing. I'm
What?
sorry.
It's not showing my right. Look, I'm glad you're telling me because it says you can. Let's try this again. Stop share. Boom. I'm glad you told me. Thank you. Share. And let's see. Does this work? Does this work? Sharing paused. It's thinking about it. No. Resume. What is going on with my computer? Okay, now can you see? Nope. Resume. Pause. What is going on with
Yeah, I
stupid
can see it
Zoom?
now.
You
It's
can
there
see
now.
it now. Okay, everybody can see it now. Yay. So glad you told me that. Hey, Trix, can you see my screen? Let me know, Trix, over in the YouTube lands. Can you see my screen? Because my screen says you can't, but I'm not sure if on YouTube you can. So if anybody in YouTube can see my screen, let me know. It's telling me you can't. I know we can, the ladies in Zoom can, but let me know. I'm just waiting because I know there's a little bit of a delay. Hopefully somebody, okay, you can see. Great. I have no idea why my computer's telling me you all couldn't see, but it was telling me you could see and y'all couldn't. I don't know. We got nothing. All right, back to this escalation clause. So just to go over it again, let's say I turned in an original offer for 450,000. And I'm going to be real pissed if somebody gets it for 455,000. What an escalation clause does right here is it says, hey, I'm going to offer you right now 450K, but I'll go up to, I don't know, 465. So if nobody else offers you anything, seller, 450. But if there's another offer that's higher, I'll go maybe in increments of $500 more. So if somebody offers you 455, I will do 455, 500. If the highest offer was 462, I would go 462, 500. I will go $500 higher up to 465. Now, I will tell you, in some states, they don't allow this. In some states, it's very legal and people do it all the time. Yes, now it could be on your test. In states where this happens a lot, it very well could be on your test. But you need to be aware because if you all are going into residential sales to send you out there, oh, no problem, Antonio. No worries about being late. I couldn't even pull my computer together. But if you all are going out into sales, I am not sending you out there without knowing what this escalation clause is. So our other clauses have to do with a promissory note. The escalation clause has to do with when you make an offer. This is a clause that is added to an offer. So it's like a bid, Trixie, like a bid, Trix, get that right. Yes, it is like a bid, Trix. It's me going, hey, I don't want to lose out. But you know what? If somebody's willing to pay 466, let them have it. That's where never mind. I don't want it that bad. So there you go. Does that make sense to everybody? I hope so. It's really important that you all figure out if you're going into residential sales, and it happens sometimes in commercial too. Is this something I can do? Right? Or somebody starts talking about it, you get an offer. Sometimes buyers will be like, well, can I just go ahead and do this? Especially if they're coming from a state where it is common and it's not common or legal in your state. So that's your helpful. I want you to be better agents kind of thing. Good. Thank you, Miss Trix. Thank you for letting me know it makes sense. All right. Number 111. I think we got everything together now. After a foreclosure sale, the sale proceeds are insufficient to satisfy the amount owed on the loan. In jurisdictions that permit it, the lender may pursue the borrower personally for the shortfall by obtaining a what? So you sold the house and the seller still owes money to that bank. What can the lender do? Can they pursue a deficiency judgment, a satisfaction of mortgage, an acceleration judgment, or a release of lien? What are we thinking the answer is? All right, Miss Crystal's going with A. All right, Miss Rosalinda's going with A. I see you. I see you there. Well, I like to go through and just eliminate at least once, and it's not acceleration judgment. That's we were just talking about acceleration clauses. No, it's not that. And I'm going to go ahead and, oh, Antonio says it's A. And Trick says it's A. Okay, well, I'm going to go ahead and tell y'all that you all are right. It is a deficiency judgment for bonus points. Judgments are what type of liens? We know liens come in two flavors. Liens come in two flavors, and a judgment is a type of lien. What type of lien? Hey, Marily, what type of lien? It is a judicial lien. You're right, it is a judicial lien, but there's a judgment lien. I mean, we know there's two types of liens. Some liens under type A or type 1 are like mortgage liens. It's the opposite. Specific is a type of lien, and that is our mortgage liens. And then you have real property tax liens. But what is that other type of lien called? Crystal's got it. General liens. Because remember, a specific lien is against a specific property. General liens are against a person and then anything that they may own. So your real property and your mortgage liens, that's why they foreclose, because that property owe money. But if there's still money left over, they're like, well, it's not on the property anymore. That's on you. And when the judgment lien is on you, that is a general lien. Good job, folks. Good job, Miss Crystal. And good job. I see you there, Miss Tricks, with the answer. So no, general, it's about what they attach to. So Valerie in my chat in my Zoom room asked, so general covers real and personal property? Yes and no. This is about who does the lien attach to? Who does it follow? And this is really important for everybody to understand. A specific lien follows one person. Or one person, I'm sorry, I misspoke. One property. So let's say, and let me actually get some more space here. Let's go here. I need more space because I do want to make sure everybody understands this because it's a great testing thing. How about this? We'll get some space on this one. So let's say there's a house. And on this house, there's a mechanic's lien. All right. And it's for $15,000. We know if it's a mechanic's lien, then the owner of the house, owner number 1, they did not pay that service provider. Well, if owner number 2 sells the house or gives the house to somebody, I'm sorry, owner number 1 sells to owner number 2, now owner number 2 owes that money. That money, that lien attaches to the house. And then if it's still not paid off, person number 3 could be the new owner and they'd be responsible for the lien. The lien attaches to the piece of real property. Versus if you have a general lien, let's say income tax liens. You owe. If you don't pay your income taxes, you don't pay the state or you don't pay nationally, and you're 22 and you don't own a car and you don't own a house, that's cool. You still owe money. That lien attaches to you. And then when, let's say you inherit a house and you're trying to sell it because you don't need it or it's in a different state, oh, they will come for your money. It attaches to you. So hopefully that makes sense. I know my drawing's a little off there, but there you go. All right, number 112. Before a foreclosure sale occurs, a defaulting borrower's right to pay the full amount owed, including costs, in order to stop the foreclosure and keep the property is known as, is it A, the statutory right of redemption, B, the right of first refusal, C, equitable right of redemption, or D, the right of rescission? Well, I know what I can eliminate. I don't want purple anymore. The right of rescission. We know rescission had to do with, contracts. And if somebody breaches and you go talk to an attorney, not an attorney, a judge, and you say, hey, it's like this contract never happened. That'd be rescission. That's one way to think of rescission, right? It's not that. All right, Rosalinda, you said C, the equitable right of redemption. And Crystal, you said C. And Valerie, you said C. And Anton, you said C. And now that's y'all are okay. The equitable right of redemption. Very good, y'all. I'm beginning to think you don't need me anymore. I'm beginning to think that y'all know this stuff. Yes, it is C. We know equitable is before the sale and statutory is after the sale, if your state allows it. All right, 113. A loan that is insured by the Federal Housing Administration, often allowing a lower down payment, but requiring a borrower to pay a mortgage insurance premium, is known as a what? A loan insured by the Federal Housing Administration, often allowing a lower down payment but requiring the borrower to pay mortgage insurance premium, MIP, is known as a We got B. We got B. Antonio, you said you need me. I think I just make y'all feel better about that you know this stuff. I'm like I'm like a support system. Y'all already know this. I know you do. That's okay. I like being needed and supporting. And yeah, this one was a pretty good giveaway. It's FHA loan because boom. Now, even though I'm pretty sure we'll have a question, probably the next one, look, talking about the Department of VA, Department of Veteran Affairs, before I even read the question, if FHA loans are insured by FHA and given by a bank, what does that mean about the Department of VA? Why do I say the Department of VA? The Department of Veteran Affairs or VA loans? It tells you right here. A loan that is guaranteed by the VA. So I'm not even going to read it. I'll just go right here. A loan guaranteed by the U.S. Department of Veteran Affairs or the VA, often allowing eligible veterans and service members to purchase a home with no down payment, is known as a VA loan. Just remember, VA guarantees. FHA insures. But in both cases, the money does not come from the government entity. The money comes from the bank. And the bank is either letting FHA provide the mortgage insurance or letting the VA guarantee to them, hey, if this borrower, flakes, you won't lose any money. The money comes from the bank. The guarantee or the insurance comes from the government. There we go. All right, we did 115 because I was feeling kind of mathy on Sunday. So let's jump over to 116 after I grab some water. All right, before it's going, hello. Oh, Caroline, I hope you are feeling better today. I hope you are feeling better, Miss Caroline. Sorry, I just saw that you said hello. All right. Also, is it extremely hot where everybody else is too? Like these last couple of days, it's hot. It's hot. Yeah. My mom was like, "Do you want to go outside to see an outdoor concert?" Absolutely not. I was like, "Oh no, I've got class tonight. Sorry." Thanks, guys. I appreciate you being my way out because I was like, "I'm sitting outside. It's hot. You crazy lady." All right, 116. A buyer obtains a conventional loan of $250,000 and must pay private mortgage insurance, PMI, at an annual rate of 0.6 of the loan amount. What is the buyer's approximate monthly PMI payment? We're looking for monthly PMI payment. And what do we know about this PMI payment? It is annually 0.6% of the loan amount. So I could take the 250, multiply it by 0.6%, which, if you really want to, would be 0.006, right? Yeah, because I moved it over. Yep, 0.006. I had to think about it for a moment. So Now, this is why I do not encourage people to try to move decimals. I have to literally think about it. It's too easy to mess it up. I like to say, whatever God or God you don't or do believe in, they put a percentage sign on your calculator for a reason. Use it. So $250,000 times 0.6%. That is $1,500. Now, I used the percentage sign when I did it, but let's do it anyway. Let's do it with the point. So 250,000 times 0.006. Oh, what do you know? It's still $1,500. Move the zero if you want to. Or move the decimal. I just like using the percent sign. That's annual. It's asking me for monthly. So we know it's not A. We know there's 12 months in a year. I know it's going to be like more than $100. So I could get rid of D because, that would be $1,200 here at $100. So it's either 125 or 208. That's what we got to calculate it for. Divided by 12. That gives me $125 monthly. All right. That makes sense to everybody? We good? I see y'all got that answer. Love it. It's one of those questions that looks like it could be hard, but if you know what's going on, not too bad. 117. A $200,000 loan has a monthly principal and interest payment factor of $6 per thousand borrowed. What is the borrower's monthly principal and interest payment? Okay. This is the bank saying, look, we'll loan you money, but every month when you pay us back, pay us $6 for every $1,000 you borrow. So if you borrow $1,000 a month, if you borrow $1,000, pay us $6 a month until it's paid back. If you borrow $2,000, you're going to pay us $12 a month until you pay us back. If you borrow $3,000, you'd pay us $18 a month until you pay us back. So we need to figure out how many 1,000s are in 200,000, and that will tell us how many $6 amounts we need to pay. So I'm going to take the 200,000, divide by 1,000, and even I can do that math. That's 200. There are 200,000s and 200,000. And if I'm going to pay 200 times that $6 amount, well, what do I get? That's $1,200. That's your monthly P&I payment. Did everybody get that? I think so. Now, I'm going to go off book because have you met me? Can anybody tell me, and I'll change colors, that first month principal is how much and interest is how much? That first month you're going to pay $1,200. You're going to pay $1,200. How much of that is principal and how much of that is interest? Anybody? I know this is a whole new problem. We're just going ahead and learning some math. So here's what I would do. I know, well, actually, can we solve this? Oh, I don't actually think we can solve this until I give you something else. I'm going to cheat. And in order to solve this, you need a percentage. Boom, ba boop, ba doop, boo. Let's find the percentage. Boom. Someplace in here. Files. Here. Don't you hate when they change your stuff around? Where are my files? Or I'm not. Stop it. Stop it. Collapse. What they do with my files? There they are. We need this. And we need finance math. And we need amortization chart. And we said it was $6. So let's go with 6%. That's what I needed. Let's pretend that the interest rate is 6% a year. How do we find out how much is principal and how much is interest? Does anybody think they could do that? Because if you're in a state where you get tested on factors, I need to make sure you can do this. So Crystal, Valerie, I know, Rosalinda, I'm looking at y'all. Oh, Valerie, I'm pretty sure, Valerie, in your state that you do this, but I'm looking at y'all for sure. Can you figure out what that would be? I'll do it quickly. If it was 6% a year and you borrowed $200,000, that means for 1 year, you would owe $12,000. You would owe $12,000. So, oof, that's going to be tight. So what you would do is you would say, hey, if it's 12,000 for a year, if I take that 12,000 and I divide it by 12, that means I'm paying $1,000 for every month. That's what you're paying of that $1,200. Part of it is principal, part of it is interest. If $1,000 is interest, even though you wrote a check for $1,200, $200 of it goes towards principal and 1,000 of it goes towards interest. Hello, Miss Georgia. Hey, Miss Valerie, good job. Good job. So again, I kind of did that from scratch. But if you're in a state, again, where they're talking to you and telling you to know about factors, you should know, how do I find the monthly payment and how much of that payment is principal and how much of that payment is interest. A lot of people get caught up on that, but it's not too hard once you do it a couple of times. Ready to move on? Good. Number 118. A lender charges 2 discount points on a $180,000 loan. How much will the borrower pay for these points in dollars? What do we know about a discount point? Well, points in general. 1 point will cost somebody 1% of the loan amount. That's what I know. That's a basic that everybody's going to apply in this class. 1 point will always cost you 1% of the loan amount, which means 2 points should cost you 2%. If you're being charged 2 discount points, it's going to cost you 2% of the loan. And if the loan is for $180,000, we're going to say $180,000 times 2%. That's $3,600. That was so you could get your preferred interest rate. Or so that the bank wouldn't owe money after they loaned you money. So we know our answer is C, $3,600. That feel okay? Good job. All right, number 119, last math question for a while. A lender uses a maximum housing expense front end of 28% of gross monthly income. If a borrower's gross monthly income is $6,000, what is the maximum monthly housing payment, PITI, that the lender will allow under this ratio? First, does everybody understand what the problem is talking about? Do all those words come together in a sentence that make you go, well, I may not know how to do the math, but I do understand what they're saying? Because this is just the basics of understanding how loans work. Even if you decide not to go into residential real estate, you go to get a car or other types of loans, they're looking at your ratios, your qualification ratios. And what this means is if you make $6,000 a month, they don't want any more than 28% of what you make of that $6,000 to go towards your PITI or your housing expenses. So if we find 28% of $6,000, we know what the maximum PITI loan amount or loan payment amount would be. So I'm going to take $6,000 multiplied by 28%, and that's going to give us, I got $1,680. That's the max PITI. And remember, that's principal, interest, taxes, and insurance. That doesn't mean, oh, well, that's just my principal and interest. You got to cover your annual taxes and your insurance, your annual insurance under that payment as well. Well, I guess you say monthly. So you don't just want to go with, oh, yeah, I can afford $1,680. Oh, did you factor in your taxes and your insurance? Because that means it's probably going to be a lower loan than you thought. $1,680. All right, 120. Loans that meet the size and underwriting guidelines established by Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac, making them eligible for purchases on the secondary mortgage market are called A, jumbo loans, B, hard money loans, C, conforming loans, or D, subprime loans. What say you? All right. What you got for me? Hello, Miss Jamie. Anybody got an answer for this for number 120? Miss Valerie says that it is C. Oh, we having a party up in here today. Yeah. All right. We got to see anybody else. Antonio says C. I see you there, Antonio. I see what you did there. I see what you all are doing. You're telling me the answer is C. And we know it's been a while, but
I like carrots, and you should too. It goes crunch, 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 and it's good for you.
we like carrots.
And you should too. It goes
Crunch, crunch, crunch. We like that. So yes, our answer is C, conforming loans. Nice. Has to do with Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac. Nice job, guys. All right, 121. A loan's interest rate is initially fixed for a set period, then periodically adjust based on a financial index plus the lender's margin. This type of loan is called overly explained. Look, I know y'all could be tested on this, but you know what this question could have said? A loan where the borrower starts at one interest rate and then it can change during the life of the loan is called what? Don't let yourself be psyched out by all the big quote unquote words in finance. What's the loan interest rate is initially fixed. Okay, it's low at first, and then it can adjust based on what the market's doing. Plus, no matter what the market's doing, the bank's going to throw some extra on the end because they want to make money. That's the margin. Is that a wraparound mortgage, a graduated payment mortgage, an adjustable rate mortgage, or a balloon mortgage? Yep, it's C. Good job. Y'all already knew. It's C. Adjustable rate mortgage. Are we all good with wraparound mortgage, graduated payment mortgages, and balloon mortgages? Is that vocab? We do like carrot. You know what I don't like right now? Carrots that are not cooked. Absolutely not. Are y'all staying away from the raw vegetables? Because this is not Devil Wears Prada and I need to just eat a cube of cheese. Absolutely not. I'm going to need y'all to cook your veggies and stuff like that and your berries. And, now's the time to put your berries in a pie. You know what doesn't give you explosive diarrhea? Pie. Got to cook them. You had 2 salads today. Crystal, did you grow your own lettuce? Ma'am, I'm going to need you to grow your own lettuce.
My
Now,
job, they ordered Panera for lunch, and then for dinner, I went to a Greek restaurant.
ma'am, I'm gonna need you to eat around the leafy veg. I don't even know once you touch the other stuff. You should be like, I'm sorry, I'm not on the diarrhea diet. Thank you. Absolutely not.
Yeah, I took like 2 bites of my salad, and I was like, uh-oh. And I said, well, I gotta finish it now.
I guess we understand, but we'll be all praying for you. We're all praying for you and your innards because, woo. All right. Now, somebody asked me about a wraparound mortgage. You want me to clarify that? So, Miss Crystal, shower to the shower to the bear. I mean, why has it got to be berries? Like, it is prime berry season, y'all, and we can't eat them. All right. So, let's talk about a wraparound mortgage. It's so much easier to draw this one out, even though my drawing skills suck. So, here we go. You have person, let's call him Ralph. I don't know where Ralph came from, but Ralph got a loan in 2003. Right? And he had a nice low payment. His low payment is $845 a month. Okay, that looks like an 8. So now it's $848 a month. That is his payment. But he wants to sell the house. He wants to sell the house to Joe. But Joe's credit is kind of meh. So Joe can't get a loan in a regular way. What happens is we do some seller financing. So Joe is going to pay Ralph every month, let's say $1,200. And then Ralph takes that $1,200 and he takes 848 of it and he gives that to Ralph's bank. So instead of Joe getting a new loan, Ralph moves in. Ralph pays Joe this $1,200. $848 of that $1,200 goes to Ralph's bank. So it's Ralph who becomes like an intermediary there. So what we're saying is this $1,200 wraps around the $800 payment. That is a wraparound. All right, Trix, you said you've heard that you have to use vinegar and baking soda to clean them. I've heard that can sometimes help, but it is not guaranteed. You know what doesn't give it to you? Ice cream. Unless you're lactose intolerant, in which case I don't know what to tell you. So if you're lactose intolerant, I'm sorry. But if you're not lactose intolerant, ice cream is not going to give you explosive diarrhea. So I just say you stick with pie and ice cream. That's what I say. Just saying. Just my guess. But more importantly, Miss Crystal, does that make sense with what a wraparound mortgage is?
Yes.
Yay! All right. We've now decided what a wraparound mortgage is and that all of our parents were wrong when they told us to eat our greens, unless you're cooking them. All right, 122. A loan is structured with relatively small periodic payments, followed by one large final payment that pays off the remaining balance. This final payment is called a... All right, we got B. All right, Miss Crystal, you said A. We got an A, we got a B. All right, Marilla, you said B. Making small periodic payments, followed by one large payment. What is that? Is it A or is it B? We got two answers here. And you all are absolutely right. It's not negative amortization. That's where how much you owe, that amount grows after a payment. And it's not the prepayment penalty. So it's either A or it's B. Oh, Rosalind is not D. All right, Antonio says it is B. And yes, it is B, the balloon payment. It is the balloon payment. Remember, the acceleration clause is the clause that says, hey, if you default, you owe the bank everything, is due and payable immediately. The balloon payment is where it's like your car loans. If you had a car, maybe you're paying, $350 a month. And then you're going to do this every single month. Usually, I don't know, maybe it's for 5 years. So was that 60 months? And then usually what happens on your last month, on month 350, month 60, you make one final payment of 350 and you're done. That's a fixed loan. Or the bank could have said, is 350 too high? You know what? Why don't you pay us 250 a month for the same car? And you're still only going to do it for 60 months. But in month 60, that's a but. You can't tell that says but. In month 60, your payment's going to be the 250 plus a huge extra payment. All of the extra. That huge extra money in that last payment, that is the balloon payment.
So Candace,
Yeah.
for example, in your example, if they said 350 and then they said 250, you're carrying that $100 to the end of the final payment, correct?
Yes, that is the simplified weighing it, but yes,
Okay.
basically. Because
Okay.
remember how you amortize all of this is going to be how do you say it's going to be a little, it's not just going to be the $100, but overall,
Right.
yeah.
I mean,
Mhm.
just kind of like a roundabout kind of way, you know
Yep,
what I'm
in
saying?
a roundabout kind of way, yes.
Okay.
And I don't ever imagine them coming in and asking you to figure out how much that balloon payment would be. That would never be. That'd be
So
doing.
they would have that amount available to you at the end so you would know what it would be, correct?
Yes,
Okay.
absolutely. Mm-hmm.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. Right. And Beauty, I got your message. Shoot me an email because shoot me an email. And I think I don't know if you have it, but it's Candace at Candace. Well, you know what? Let's do the other one. It's Candace Ellis at Gmail. And then I get so many email messages for something like that. Put student, especially right now, put student into the header and I'll make sure I see it. Yeah, if I missed it, I'm sorry, but go ahead and email me. Put student. Anytime I see the word student in a email message, I usually get. All right. 123. A lender requires the borrower to pay 1/12 of the estimated property taxes and insurance premiums each month into a reserve account the lender manages on the borrower's behalf. This account is called, remember, all of this, you're paying 1/12 of the estimated property taxes and insurance premium every month. When we talk about PITI, all of that is the T&I we talk about. P&I is the principal and interest. The T&I is the taxes and insurance. So what do we call that? Is it the sinking fund, the reserve fund for replacement, the trust account, or D, the impounder escrow account? All right, we got D, we got D, we got D. Yep, y'all are correct. Our answer is we don't want to be in red anymore. Let's do blue. Our answer is D. That's such a pretty Carolina blue. Escrow account. All right, 124. A buyer takes over the seller's existing mortgage loan and agrees to make the remaining payments under the original loan terms. This is called, so the buyer's taking over the seller's existing mortgage loan. Is it a loan assumption? Is it subordination? Is it refinancing or is it recasting? I'm not even familiar with that recasting word. I don't, it doesn't, I'm going to eliminate recasting because I don't know what that is. I might want to look it up and make sure I'm just not, an idiot. Want to make sure. But what do you all think this answer is? Let me ask ChatGPT real question what recasting is in real estate finance. Let's see if I'm just missing something. What is recasting in real estate finance? Oh, so we just learned something. This is the Recalculation. Okay, that is just terrible. I need to go to handwriting class. Okay. Recalculation of P&I of actually, no, let's take this, just P after a large early payment. So let's say you had a bonus at work. And so you understanding how all of this works, you're like, let me put this extra bonus money into my my mortgage payment. Recasting, I just learned a word today, means when they refigure out what your, what that new balance is going to be. It's recasting. That's not the answer, but now I've learned something. So make sure everybody can still see what's going on with my screen. Let me know if that changed. My computer blinked for a second there. So anybody know what our answer is on this one? Anybody? All right, we got A, we got an A. A loan assumption, we got A, we got A, we got A. Yo, A, yep, it's A. Nice job, ladies and gentlemen. 125. Ooh, more math. I don't know. It's been a while since I've done some math. I'm enjoying it. A property sells for $350,000. The listing brokerage charges a 6% commission, split 50-50 with the buyer's selling brokerage. The listing agent then receives 60% of the listing brokerage's share. How much does the listing agent receive? Okay, let's go step by step. If the sales price is $350 and the total commission was 6%, then that means the total commission amount, $350 times 6%, is $21,000. You wish you were getting a check for $21,000, but you are not. So that has to be split 50-50 between the listing and the selling broker, or the seller and the buyer's brokerage. So we're going to take 21,000 and divide it by 2, putting that in half. And so when we do that, we get 10,500. That's going to each brokerage. Because remember, your clients didn't hire you, they hired your brokerage. And then it said the listing agent is receiving 60% of the listing brokerage's share. So your company got 10.5 and you get 60% of that. So we're doing $10,500 times 60%. And that gives me, I got $6,300. Know what you got? That's what I got. And that's the right answer. Boom. Love it. All right. 126. A seller pays a total commission of $18,000, representing 6% of the sales price. What was the sales price of the property? So whatever the sales price was, 6% of that number was $18,000. This is our unknown. We want to know what that unknown is. So we got to get those question marks to the other by themselves, which means we got to get rid of this times 6% by doing the opposite. We divide by 6%. And what we do on one side, we do on the other. So our answer is equal to $18,000 divided by 6%. And that means our answer is $18,000 divided by 6%, $300,000. Now, even if you weren't sure what you were doing, you knew it had to be less than 350 looking at our last problem. Now, granted, when most of you take this test, it'll be on a computer screen, but you can go back to questions. If you're like, I don't have any clue, I would try to find this question and be like, well, I know my answer has to be less than 300,000, 350,000. I know it has to. So I know it can't be 3 million. I know it can't be $1,880,000. So now the question was, okay, was it going to be 300,000 or 30,000? Well, if this payment was 6,300, well, I should say 2,100 at 6%, then just guessing it had to be 300,000. Even though I just did that and came up with that answer, at the very least, I could use other answers to try to cheat my way through it. It's not cheating, it's just using the context clues. All right, 127. Ooh. Annual property taxes of 3650 or 3,650 were paid in advance by the seller for the full calendar year, 365 days. Closing occurs on July 1st, which is day 182 of the year, and the seller is responsible for the day of closing. How much will the buyer owe the seller for taxes at closing? So we know, and I always like to draw these out. Why did that happen? If this is the year, this is the calendar year, let's say 2025, or actually say 2026, the seller paid. They paid in advance for the whole year. The whole year has been paid by seller. But the house sells on July 1. Does it seem fair if you're the seller? You pay the whole year in advance? So now what are we going to do? Like, thanks, seller. Thanks for paying for me. Absolutely not. The seller's going to expect you to pay them back. So we know the total amount was $3,650. If I divide that by 365, how much does that give us? Now, I know this is one of those where you're like, Candace, you should be able to do that math in your head, but no shame in your game if you got to put this in your calculator to find out that it's $10 a day. So we know that this buyer needs to pay them $10 a day. Well, they said this between here and here is 182 days, which means this buyer owes the difference between 365 and 182. So 365 minus 182 is 183 days. 183 days times $10 a day should be 1,830. Boom. Now, why I did all that above the problem when we got all this space right here, one will ever know, but our answer for 127, in fact, is $1,830.
So
I feel
Candace,
okay? Yes, go for it.
so I missed that one because they tricked me.
Okay, how'd they trick you?
Because they said 182, which is 182 of the year. However, it does say the seller's responsible for the closing date, which would have added one extra day. I didn't catch that. So that would have made it 183 days so that's why I missed that part.
Let's see. Let me make sure. So they said, well, when they said it's 182 days,
Right. And the seller's responsible for the day of closing.
So if it closed on July 1st and they're telling you that's 182 days, then I think that's what my assumption was, that it was written to say that that July 1st was the 182nd day of the year. So that means July 1st is 182 and they are responsible for 182 out of 365 days.
So the 182 times 10 is 1820. Where did I go wrong?
because the 182 is what the seller owes. You're looking at it differently.
Yeah.
Let's see. The seller owes 182
Right.
and they paid that in advance. The buyer owes, not that color. They owed for 183 days.
So
If
the
the
buyer owns this. So the buyer owes a day of closing, or the seller owes a day of closing?
seller owes a day of closing.
Okay. So that would be 183 days instead of the 182.
Yes, but I think it's just how you're looking at it.
Right.
If you do July 1st, okay.
Right. Mm-hmm.
How do I do this to make you under a bit? Got a calendar here, right?
Okay.
So this is January. This is February. This is March. This is April. This is May. This is June. And this is July.
Right.
Right?
Mm-hmm.
They're saying 31, 28,
Mm-hmm.
31, 30, 31, 30 plus 1. They're
That was
saying all those numbers together equaled 182 days.
correct.
But that's what the seller owed.
Right.
The seller has all of this,
Right.
right? The buyer owes from here on into the future.
So July 2nd through the end of the year of December 31st,
Yep.
right?
And we're saying that is, change this to be a different pen because that's terrible. Hello. Boom. We're saying what the buyer owes is 183 days for $10 a day.
Okay.
So 182 is correct for the seller. The buyer owes 183 days.
The day after closing and moving forward.
Yes, exactly.
Okay. Okay.
That makes sense?
Yes.
All right, let me just see. So, 31 plus 28 plus 31 plus 30 plus.
So that all those days come up to 182.
Okay, right. And the seller already paid all that.
Correct.
Right? The seller, if you do that, that's $1,820, right?
Right. Mm-hmm.
But the seller paid $3,650. If you were the seller and you sold me your house, are you cool?
Yep, got it. You're
Yeah,
right.
there you go. Sometimes
I got
it just gets a little tricky like that, right?
3,650 minus the 118.20 is the 1830. Got it.
Yes.
Got it. Yes,
Boom.
got it.
There you go. Now,
Got it.
Miss Trix, you said T-bar. I mean, the T-bar, can I T-bar? You would basically, I'm not quite sure what we would want to T-bar for this because we're not really dealing with a percentage. Isn't really necessarily a percentage question. I think this is more about looking at this and understanding, hey, this part is the seller and this part is the buyer. Yeah. All right, let's do one more math question since our brains are in it. And because, I told my mother I had this class with y'all, and that's why I couldn't sit outside in the heat. Still not mad at it. I'm mad she's out there sweating. Lady, it's crazy. All right. 129. A property was purchased 5 years ago for $240,000 and is appreciated at a simple non-compounded average rate of 4% of the original price per year. What is the property's current approximate current value? So 5 years ago. So you got 2021, 2022, 2023, 2024, 2025, Oh man. Okay, I can push it over. 2026. 1, 2, 3, 4. Oh, we could do it this way. So for now, this is year 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Right? You bought it here for 240,000. Plus you gain 4%. Plus you gain 4%. Plus you gain 4%. Plus you gain 4%. And that is going to be 1, 2, 3, 4. Plus you gain 4%. You've gotten that 4% 5 times. So this is 8. And then, you're going to add another one, which is 24. Then you're going to, okay, why am I doing it that way? I'm pretty sure y'all can handle that 5 times, 4% 5 times is, why can I not figure out off of my head? Why did I lose my mind? If you've got 4% 5 times, what is that? That is, Lord
20.
Jesus. What's 4 times 5%?
To be 20.
It should be 20%. Yeah, should be 20%.
Yeah, 20%.
20%. Why am I losing my mind? So over the 5 years, you've gained 20% of $240,000. Probably because this is not how I naturally would have done the problem. I'll show you all how I naturally would have done it, which is why my brain just got all falafeled in there. So 20% of 240,000 should be times 20% is $48,000. And that would be our final answer. Oh, wait, that would not be our final answer. It wants to know the current value. So the 48,000.
Would you not add that to the 240,000?
Plus 240,000, which is $288,000. Boom. That would be our final answer. And if I wasn't paying attention, they would have gotten me with C. Now, you all saw that that's how I did the problem. What I probably would have done in my mind, I did that because I was explaining it to you all. What I probably would have done was said, if it was me personally, 240,000 times 4%, which is $9,600. And then I would have said, oh, we got 5 years of that times 5. And that would have given me 288. Well, no, would have given me the 48,000.
Right.
And then,
That's how I
or,
did it.
yep. And that's just, it's a different way to do it. Some of you all might have said, well, you know how I want to do it? You could say, I want to find 120% times 240,000. If y'all have heard me talk and teach with Chris, he would have done it that way. And he would have just come up with 288,000. All of those are different ways to accomplish the same math problem. I was trying to do it this way in my head, drawing it out, but sometimes that's not the easiest. Sometimes it makes more sense to do it this way. Sometimes it makes more sense to do it that way. It just depends on what you want to do. Right? It just depends on how you want to do it, as long as you understand why you're doing it. Quite honestly, guys, it's just to make sure that you all know how to do simple math. And I'm not saying this is hard math or easy math. What I'm saying is you all start helping investors. You got to be able to manipulate some numbers. How you get there is not important. The fact that you understand how to get there is important. Right? So it doesn't matter which way you want to do it. And hopefully you can do it. Yes, Miss Caroline, I will see you next time. And we will start with number 130. We got some more math. Oh, just a couple more math problems. We won't do all math next time. And Miss Caroline, if you're feeling better, we will also go over what it's going to take for all of y'all to become the best agents ever when you start your project, your careers. So I'm going to go not be outside. If you have questions, you know how to reach me. And of course, y'all, I'm putting stuff up on YouTube and on TikTok. So if you have questions you want me to go over publicly that way, send them to me and I will make it one of my posts. So unless somebody's got a question, something else, I will see you next time. Thank you for putting up with me, and don't eat the salad. Go have some ice cream. Bye, everybody.
Thanks, Candace.